What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Cam, sitting here with my lovely wife, Vicky Logan, and we're your hosts for the podcast, Everything is We. We missed a week. We've had a crazy 7 months, okay? It's just been crazy. And
when is it not going to be crazy is the question.
I don't even know.
When do we get to be normal? Never. But
yeah, it's been crazy. It's been
Can y'all
unreal.
hear me? Am I too low? Maybe it's just because my hat is blocking.
You have sound mufflers.
But you're
over
so
your ears.
loud.
I sound normal to myself.
Oh, okay. Do I sound normal?
Yep.
Okay, that's all that matters.
Put you up a teach. All right. Hey. Whew. We back for a week or two. No, we back. Somebody
Don't
had
speak that.
somebody
We're gonna
had-
do things on time and in order this year. We're gonna be
Well, I was
decent and in
saying
order.
that because we're gonna make sure that we have consistent uploads. So, my wife shared with me some of the voice notes that you all had left, or a few of you, 2 of you, had left on the Anchor page, and so we wanted to address those, right?
Yes. So if you didn't know, we do have a feature where you guys can send in your questions. You guys can ask us questions via the Anchor page, which will be linked in the description box as it always is. And you guys can click there and you can leave us a voice message. And if you want to be in the podcast, you can be in the you can be a special guest in the podcast, ask your question and we'll answer it for you. So if you've ever wanted to do one of like the call-in segments on a radio show, this is your opportunity. This is your moment. This is your moment. So we have, like he said, we have 2 people that asked some pretty good questions. We're only going to do one. I don't want to do both in the same episode.
Okay.
But yes, I think it'll be a great opportunity for you guys to ask questions and answer. I mean, talk about what you guys want us to talk about. I mean, yep. I don't know where my thought was going there, but yes. So that is what we're going to do today. We're going to answer one of you guys' questions. So how do we do this?
Oh, because we can play it through here.
We can.
Do you need to log in on my phone? All right. And now we're going to play a clip or the audio message from our dear friend. Should we say their names? I mean,
Sure. Why not? I mean, I don't know if this is confidential. I don't know if you want this to be confidential. She put her name, so I'm assuming she doesn't want it to be confidential.
I mean, they have to, like, if you send a message, your name just shows up.
Well, I don't know. I assume that if they sent their voice in, they want I don't know.
Because I don't want to, you know what I'm saying? But
We don't know. We don't know who that is. That's such a very generic name.
Their full name is there.
You could just say the first name.
This voice note was sent in by Kayla. Kayla, you know who you are. We're not going to say your last name because we don't know if you want us
We don't even know if you want us to say your name.
share your
But you put your
identity.
name here, so I don't know. If your name is here, I feel like we should say it. I don't
If you don't mind this, if you don't mind your identity being shown, let us know. If you watch it on YouTube, in the YouTube comments, let us know and we'll big up you. We'll let you, okay. Nevertheless, let's go ahead and get right into the question. This is what we're going to talk. We're going to base the whole podcast episode pretty much on this question.
Sure. Unless you just run out of things to say, but
Here we go.
Hey y'all, so I know on the previous episode you guys talked about how some people have unrealistic expectations based on like society, exposure, and all of that stuff. But for me, I've known that like even in marriage, sexual intimacy can be deeply emotional. And I'm wondering, what advice you have for someone or a couple that has lost that emotional intimacy due to a breach of trust or something like that, and how do they regain that connection to build on sexual intimacy that's been lost.
So regaining emotional intimacy after it may have been lost due to trust, due to life, whatever. How do we regain emotional intimacy?
Mm-hmm.
And she said there was a key word in there. She said sexpectations.
Yes, that was from our last. If you haven't watched that episode, our last episode, we talked about people having expectations for sex that are unrealistic based on their experiences or whatever, and like putting, I guess, I don't know, what did we say? We talked about how people like expect when they go into a relationship, they expect for the sex to be good, even though
nobody's willing to grow into anything anymore. You have to be.
They think 100%, sex is a personality trait and not
you have to be who you
learned
are.
Behavioral experience that you have with your spouse. It's So anyway, I think as far as losing, I think the answer is kind of in the question, honestly. Like, if you lose emotional intimacy due to issues like losing trust, or, you know, things that you go through that may have negatively impacted the way that you connect with that person, you have to deal with those things that negatively impacted your relationship to heal and move forward so that you can have, and that creates emotional intimacy because you're being intimately emotional and being vulnerable. I think that kind of, you have to go to the source. If you already know what the source is, you know what I mean? Because there's no like, I think there's no like Band-Aid solution for like dealing with issues in your relationship. It's like you have to deal with it in order to move on. Right? So like, in order to rebuild that emotional intimacy, you have to tackle, like, okay, if I lost trust with you and that is affecting our emotional intimacy and our sex life, I have to figure out, okay, how do we regain that trust? Because we're not going to move forward unless that happens.
Yeah. And so one of the things that you kind of said it, but like as you were continuing to talk, like I began to see like this picture, and I'm an analogy guy because
okay, come on, picture.
I'm a preacher. And so
illustrations.
When we talk about how do we deal with emotional intimacy, and intimacy is extremely like deep and personal, and it has deep roots in, you know, whoever or whatever the person has gone through, or whatever, you know, experiences that individual has had, or you may have had, or things that spark, you know, different things spark different reactions, different emotions in different people. They invoke different things. They cause different things to happen. And so when you say like you're trying to like, how do I regain, or how do I, you know, you have to rebuild. And you kept saying it. Mm-hmm. You have to rebuild. When you build something for the first time, right? It's very tedious, but you're trying to make sure you put everything in the house that you need and some of the things that you want. And so you're making sure that you've laid out the architectural designs. This is before anything is poured. This is before any wood is laid out, any foundation is poured. You look at the architectural designs. In our church, my parents have been doing it for years. It's called God's blueprint for marriage. So you have to look at the blueprints and make sure that everything you all need are in the blueprints. This is what happens when you build. Okay. You look at the blueprints and you decide, okay, this is what we want. And it's funny because, we've gone through blueprints, ourselves. And so, Vicky's like, I want a 2-story living room, great room area. And I'm like, we could use that space and put another bedroom. And Vicky's like, well, and so we had to come to an agreement.
Yeah.
On what we wanted. Right. That's before nothing is laid, like no materials have been purchased. We have to decide what we want in the house. Okay. So you and your spouse, you all have to decide, okay, what do we want in our house? What do we want in this house? What do we want in this house? And once we decide that, then we can start purchasing materials and we can start laying down the foundation. And you have to lay the foundation because you can't put wood on something. Oh, I feel like preaching now.
Okay.
You can't build something on a foundation that's
shaky.
Firm.
If it's shaky, and like if there's no trust, that foundation's shaky. So you can't. And I think that's where people kind of get tripped up is like, if something catastrophic happens to the house that you've built with somebody, if there's like extreme damage, they try to go in and just start like fixing stuff again without looking at, okay, what's really broken here? Like it's like you try to put new stuff on top of what's already been damaged, right?
Yep.
And you can't do that because you still got to deal with what's been damaged. Like you still got to deal with what is broken. You got to look at the cracks, like each crack in, I don't know, like if the window's broken, you don't put a new window. It's like, okay, I'm gonna give an example since you're in the house analogy. I'm gonna give an example. Remember when we were ripping up the floor?
Yep.
And we've been living in this house for 6 years, 7 years. And we got new flooring put in. If you watch Life of the Logans, we got new flooring put in downstairs. We started the renovation process. We went and picked out new floors. We was all hyped, like, oh yes, we're gonna get these wood vinyl flooring, blah, blah, blah. They rip up the
luxury
carpet.
wood laminate. Yep.
They rip up the carpet and they rip up the tile in the kitchen to find out that there's already old tile underneath the tile so the people that lived before us did not do a good job of removing the old tile. They left the old tile there, the old crusty, dingy yellow tile. They left it there and put new flooring on top, thinking, they won't know. Like, we'll just put new flooring on top and pretend like it's okay, like it's fine.
You better minister.
We pulled up that tile.
It was gross.
It was disgusting. And it's like, why would you leave this dingy? Like, it's like they didn't even care to like try to, like they just threw some new tile on top of what was old and dingy and dirty already there. It's not even good. It's cracks in it. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And so I think a lot of people try to do this. It's like you're trying to renovate your house, but you doing stuff kind of not in order. You have to like rip up the old stuff and like get rid of it and start fresh from a clean slate, right? So you can't just go in and start trying to add.
That's me giving you an amen, because
okay.
if I can interrupt you right there, because what you're saying is a conversation I was having with my little bro Norris, which also was a conversation that I was having with you in relation to a message that Manny preached. And it's all prophetic in the season that we're in, because you can't go or walk into a new season with
the same mentality.
The mentality of the last season.
Yep.
The Bible says that you can't put new wine in old wineskins.
Right.
And so when we talk about how to regain, how to rebuild emotional availability, emotional intimacy with our spouse, or regain and rebuild trust that may have been broken from one party to the next, you have to tear down the old man. My dad was even preaching about it. You gotta let go of that old man, and you have to rebuild. Let me give you the definition. I'll let you continue because I know you. I see you. You got some stuff going on up there. I like to give definitions because we have to do this because it lays the foundation of the topic that we're talking about right now. When you rebuild, it says to build something again after it has been damaged or destroyed. Mm-hmm. Similar words: reconstruct, renovate, restore. Means again. So you're doing something again, but you're doing it when you rebuild, you do it better.
Yeah.
The next time than it was before. You don't rebuild something that was janky.
Right.
Yeah, this was cracked like this, so we gonna leave it like that, and we gonna build it just like no. When you rebuild it better than it was before.
Which means you have to do something new that time. Like you have to do it differently than you did last time. And I think sometimes that requires you to go back and look at what went wrong in order for there to be like damage or destruction. You know what I'm saying? Like figure out, and y'all both have to agree that what went wrong too. Cause sometimes like if I lied to you and our trust is broken and I don't understand why me lying to you is wrong, then if we try to rebuild intimacy, emotional intimacy, and you still don't trust me because I don't understand why I was wrong, then ain't nothing gonna be fixed because we don't agree.
Yep.
We have to agree, this was wrong. This is why it was wrong. This is how you made me feel. And I need to know why you felt like you could do that. Like there has to be all those kind of conversations where you break down what happened. And you can't avoid talking about what happened. You have to literally like sit down together and figure out what went wrong, understand each other's perspectives without pointing fingers. And, you know, because like sometimes when somebody does something wrong, you can kind of hold it against them and like point the finger and be like, well, you did this, you did this, you did this. But you have to give them the opportunity to, one, repent for what they did to you, and two, like understand and learn how to not do it again. And I mean, it sounds, in certain instances, it sounds like giving them too much grace, but if you're married to this person, you have to. So that's kind of, you know, that's the requirement. It's for better or worse. But yes, I think a lot of conversation needs to be had. And like I said, that conversation is those kind of conversations are so vulnerable that I feel like it'll already start to rebuild that intimacy, because you have to be, I think people limit intimacy to sex. Like, oh, intimacy is just me touching on you. No, intimacy is like way more, like you said, it's really deep. It's more than just like
deeply rooted.
Physical attraction and expression. Intimacy is like, it's not cute sometimes. Like it's
put
not.
A pin in it. I'm sorry. Everything you're saying is just so good.
Oh, okay.
It's just so good because I'm a visual person. Picture this, okay? When you rebuild, when we tore up the floors,
Mm-hmm.
it got ugly.
It's still kind of ugly, honestly.
You got to, especially when the job's not done, you pulling up stuff, you're tearing out the old, and it's painful, and it's loud, and it's dirty, and it's dusty, and you're uncomfortable because now there's a space in our house that can't be used until it is restored or renewed.
And finished.
And
it has to be finished.
And when something is being rebuilt, it has to be renewed and restored. Let me give you some I'm giving you more definite. I didn't went to the Bible programs now.
Oh my goodness.
To renew means, and as I was hearing rebuild, I started seeing renew. To renew means to make like new, to restore to freshness, vigor, or perfection. Okay? As we renew our strength, he will renew your strength, right? To make new spiritually, to restore to existence, to make extensive changes in. That's what we're talking about. We're making extensive changes. When people talk about, oh, I got to do the self work, I got to work on me. Some people go to therapy because they're making extensive changes in. When we come to God and say, God, I'm giving you my life. God, I'm giving you my soul. God, I'm giving you my spirit. God, I'm giving you everything that I have so you can use it for your glory. He is doing an extensive work. The work was already done. We already know this. But there is an extensive work that took place in order for us to be renewed. And that's what happens when you're going through something that's being rebuilt, that's being restored, that's being renewed. It's ugly. It gets dirty. You can't you can't go to the kitchen as frequently to go to the refrigerator as much as you would like, because there's work, there's construction that's going forth that you can't easily have. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say going forth.
Yes, you did. It's okay.
There's work that's being done that's limiting your access to that person.
Yeah. So it's not gonna.
This is good.
It's not gonna be easy for you to just hop back into bed and be like, all right, let's do the thing. It ain't gonna be, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's gonna be time. Time has to take place. You have to let time do its work. You know what I mean? It takes time for those kind of things. Even if you haven't experienced, like, I feel like we said this when we were talking about the expectations. Even when you haven't experienced trauma with that person, like, y'all are starting off fresh. When you're building a relationship with somebody, that's what we was trying to say in the first video. You don't just hop into bed with somebody you don't know and y'all automatically know what to do and how to do it and when to do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't know that process yet. And over time, you build that process with that person. Like, over time, you learn what buttons to push. You know what I mean? Like, because you have to get to know one another, and you have to, dwell with one another. You know what I mean? Like, learn each other, how we work, what we like, all that stuff. That takes time. It doesn't happen in one night. So if you've done all of that and then you lose trust, you got to do all that again, and it's gonna take this. And I won't say the same amount of time, but it's still going to take time, because that's how you build intimacy over time. It doesn't happen overnight. So, like, I feel like, and I think we said this before, but like, I feel like some of the not cute, ugly parts of our marriage have helped us be more intimate. Like, that's built our emotional intimacy. It wasn't just because we like each other and we think each other cute. Like, the emotional intimacy came when we've been through stuff.
Yeah.
Like, it comes from going through things.
Yep.
So I don't think it's a disadvantage. Well, I don't want to say it like your problems aren't problems, because they are problems. But I'll say, like, I think it's less of a disadvantage than you think it is to have to go through something to build emotional intimacy, if that makes sense. Like, rebuilding doesn't have to be a bad thing. I think if you look at it from a different perspective of we're getting a chance to start over, instead of looking at it like we have to start over and that sucks. You know what I'm saying? It's a perspective thing. Like, look at it as an opportunity to say, okay, the first time didn't work out, but now we know what not to do. You could start there, You know what I'm saying? Like, a positive mindset, because I feel like going into marriage, we think was just going to be great from the beginning. But if somebody would have said to me, oh, you have to build your emotional intimacy over time, I'd have been like, oh, okay, well, I'll give myself time. But you just hop into it thinking, oh, I got this, and you don't, and then you get discouraged. Like, you have to have a different mindset and understand that it takes time, and you're going to have to go through some stuff. But that's what makes it that much more beautiful. You know what I'm saying? Like, when it clicks now. It's clicking, Steven. It's clicking. You know what I'm saying? Like, now, because we've been through hard times and situations, like maybe I shouldn't say that. I was gonna talk about how when I be super emotional, you like me more. I mean, I don't know.
I don't care. Talk about
so I'll keep it cute. But so we were having this conversation. I was having this conversation with Cam the other day, because it's like, it seems like when I'm menstruating, when I'm on my period, when I'm emotionally distraught. Cause I'm a thug most of the time, but like, man, like that 1.5 week out of the month where I'm not okay. Like I be going through it. Okay. Like crying for no reason, just damsel in distress. Please come save me. I am in this tower and this dragon is here, fire breathing out of my uterus, and I just need somebody to give me a warm hug. That is me once a month, just that week. It's horrendous, okay? But during that week, Cam, he loves me so much. Like he'd be like, so, and it makes me cry too, because I'd be like, wow, first of all, I'm already emotional, but now you're being nice to me, and it's a lot. And for some reason,
number one, I'm always nice to you.
No. But the niceness hits different when I'm in distress.
But here's the thing, because I don't want you to kind of blow this out of proportion.
I'm not blowing out of proportion.
Like due to the fact that your hormonal state is at a level that is normally not there, you may feel as if I'm being extra or overly or above and beyond the normal nicest that I am, but really it's
just normal you.
It's just me, and your love and affection is amplified, so you feel like I'm pretty like consistent.
You
like,
are not to say that Cam's not nice. It's not to say that Cam's not nice, but it just seems like the emotions, because they are heightened at that moment, it seems like the affection, the intimacy that we have is much stronger around that time. And it's like, wow, like that's when I like really love you.
But because, like I do.
But it seems like he's more attracted to me when I'm that vulnerable with him.
Because every man likes a girly girl. Like I don't want you, walking around here like, what's up, my boy? You know what I'm saying? Like, I want a lady. You know what I'm saying? Not to say that you're not, but like,
sorry, it's hot.
when you're being, plus you're not an overly emotional person anyway.
I'm not.
So you're not.
I do not. That's why I said
you're not extra feely. So
normally,
when you are, it's like, this is weird, but like, okay, like, I like it.
That's what I'm saying. Normally I don't care about anything. Normally I'm just like, I don't care. Whatever. Let's just do it. Like, that's how I am. But like during that one time a month, man, like I just be, and I guess it is the girliness, but I think it's more of like a vulnerability thing. It's like when I'm vulnerable, you really like that.
Yeah.
And I don't think that has to be a bad thing. I think you can lean into that a little. Like, okay, like being vulnerable doesn't have to always be like, ew. You know what I'm saying? Like it can lead to some magical moments. But you know what I'm trying to say? Like, it's just something about the vulnerability of it all. We talked about this too when I was like, when my grandpa died last year, and I just loved you even more, because it's like, wow, like you really here for me right now. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I don't know what that, weddings and funerals, like they just make me like you more. I don't know. It's the vulnerability. It's like the feelings of it all. Like when we go to,
but those are like monumental moments though. Like a wedding is the beginning of a new life for people.
A funeral.
And then a funeral, like that's a big, it's like, man, like, so you're you're reflective in both. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like those are big moments. So that's why.
Well, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, if I lost trust with you, that's a big moment too. If we have to regain that trust, that's a big moment in our relationship. And that's a moment that we can build on to build intimacy and be vulnerable with each other. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I don't think you have to look at it as something bad. Like, I feel like everything hard that we've gone through has made us that much more. I mean, and obviously those type of tests will show you, I mean, I don't want to be like negative, but it'll show you if you chose right. You know what I'm saying? Like,
that's facts.
It'll show you if that person really loves you and if they're really in it for the right reasons. If y'all are able to work through situations and come out stronger and love each other through it. You know what I mean? Like, if they're not willing to do that, that's why I said you have to be on the same page, because they have to understand where you're going and what you're building toward. If they're not trying to build toward that same thing, I don't want to say the rest, but they might not have your best interest at heart, which means, because I mean, here's the thing: people make mistakes. They make mistakes. Sometimes, if you know your foundation ain't strong, you might make some pretty big mistakes. But I don't think that means that you can't build back better. I didn't want to say that. I didn't want to say it. It just came out. But. It
cracks me up when you do that.
What?
Like,
as I'm saying something, I realize I didn't want to say that.
Or like you'll just try to like, okay, you look at me like, all right, you go.
Because if you don't stop me, I'm gonna keep saying stuff.
I want you to finish your thought.
I finished my thought, and
I interrupted you like 3 times, so I was trying.
I don't mind. I don't care.
But no, I mean, these are the things. The Bible talks about this. It's the testing of your faith. It's in those trying times. It's in those moments where you allowed your humanity to take over, and in those moments where you may have slipped and you may have failed, in those moments where you didn't trust, or in those moments where whatever, you fill in the blank, right? Is it going to produce perseverance in you?
Endurance.
Like, is this obstacle that we're facing, is this going to make us stronger, or is this going to tear us apart?
Right.
Because if it's tearing you apart to the point where the two of you no longer want to be together, then it goes to question like, well,
why were we together?
Why did we do this to begin with? And I say this often. I'm gonna say it again because I ain't said it in a minute. What's the point of getting in relationship with people, platonically? So I mean, in whatever relationship, if when stuff goes sour, it's like, oh, okay, well, we just can't be friends. Like, what?
Yeah.
Like, all of my friends will tell you, I don't agree with everything they do.
Nope.
Because I don't want to be in relationship with myself.
I feel like I don't want no relationships with people where I can't tell you that you was wrong. And I can't express myself and tell you how that made me feel. Like, if we can't do that, then you need to bounce. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to make sure that the people that's in your life, they're willing to talk to you about what's going on and like own what they do. You know what I'm saying? Like, all right, I was tripping, my bad. Like, come back and be like, I'm sorry, I was tripping. Like, okay, now we can move forward. Like, you know what I'm saying? You gotta have people with accountability and who take responsibility for their actions around you. And make sure, like, for those of y'all who are single, make sure when y'all date people, like, not only do you need to, and this is why we were saying this in the last episode about, before you get into a long-term relationship with somebody and then like try to marry them and then be mad that your sex life sucks. Like, understand, like, the communication that y'all have is going to determine whether or not y'all will be able to work through issues. It'll determine whether or not your sex life is good. It'll determine whether or not y'all will be able to build and grow and thrive. If y'all don't have good communication, it all boils down to communication. Like, if you can't talk about stuff, y'all need to be together. Y'all don't need to be touching on each other. You don't need to be looking at each other if y'all can't communicate. Because all of this requires constant, deep, and consistent communication about literally everything. You should be able to talk about all this stuff, because relationships are not easy. And I know we sit up here and we talk about stuff and it makes it look like our relationship is easy, but the only reason we feel like it's easy is because we talk. I feel like me and Cam's relationship is easy because we literally communicate about everything. There is nothing I don't tell him. There's nothing he don't tell me. We talk about stuff. Like, I ain't like when you did this. My bad. I'm sorry. Or sometimes I don't even have to say it. Cam would just be like, you know what? I was thinking about this the other day, and I didn't mean to do it like that, or I wasn't doing this right, and that's my bad. Okay. Let me move forward. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to be able to be responsible for yourself as an individual and own your decisions and your actions so that you can do the same for other people. Like, I can't judge Cam for anything he does if I don't judge myself first, you know? Like, that's what that means. So, yeah.
Yeah. I feel like we have to, this is just a slight deviation from our primary topic from our good sister, Kayla. But I feel like this is just like a really, really, really take note of what I'm about to say, y'all. As we grow and mature in life, and we grow and mature in our spiritual walk, like, we should definitely, it should be a point of emphasis to build relationships that are solid and that hold us accountable. Mm-hmm. Like, the majority of my relationships, like, I can call my brothers and like, we can all hold each other accountable.
Right.
Like, and we need those times, and we'll recognize, like, man, I needed this. Like, man, I needed it. And this is what I was saying on my Instagram live. Somebody asked me, this is, like I said, this is a deviation. Somebody asked me the difference between a God dream and a dream that you just may have. And, you know, how do I decipher God's voice and what God is showing me based on what I want and whatever. And it's like, God is he's going to confirm whatever it is that he shows you.
Right.
Like, I'm going to call my dad and just, hey, Dad, I just want to check in with you. Yeah, man, this is what God was, you know, God put on my heart. It's like, whoa, man, I just had a dream about that. God was saying the same thing to me. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, cool. Like, yeah, man, hey, pay attention. Or, you know, my boy, Lorelco, he may call me and he may start saying something like, bro, are you kidding me? And I'll just laugh. He'd be like, what? Like, bro, God literally just said that to me. I'd be like, babe, did not. She's like, yep, you said it. You said it though. Or I can call somebody else, or like me and Norris can be having a conversation on the basketball court. Or, for instance, I play basketball with Sean and Norris on Saturday, and Jason and some others.
We don't know who those people are.
And they know LaShawn and Norris. And
not everybody knows.
Okay. And a couple of days later, Norris texts us and he says whatever God put on his heart. And LaShawn says, bro, I felt that when we was on the court. And I was like, bro, I've been feeling like this all year. And so it's like, when you have those relationships where it's not just, hey, man, I want to prophesy to you. No, it's like, hey, bro, you need to chill out. Or, hey, bro, you don't need to talk to that girl. You need to delete her number. You don't need to look. I mean, these are conversations that I had with my brothers.
Yep.
And they don't, man, get out the car, man. I ain't trying to hit, like, no. These are real relationships where we can keep it real. Right.
Yes. And it doesn't have to be, what is it called when somebody like brutal honesty? Like, it doesn't have to start arguments. Because I feel like sometimes when we disagree with people, they feel like, oh, you trying to argue with me. You know what I mean? Like, you feel attacked, you getting your feelings about it, and then it becomes an argument. Like, it doesn't have to be an argument. It could just be like, man, I love you. I don't want to see you mess up.
Yeah.
It's that serious. Like, I don't want you to do something stupid because you can end up hurting somebody. You know what I mean? Like, it's not me trying to say, I'm better than you. You need to listen to me. No, it's like, I care about you. What you're doing is dumb. Stop. Like, why can't we have those kind of conversations with people? Why does that have to be like hate? Why does it have to be hate speech? Hate? Oh, you hating? You a hater? Because this is what we do in our community. People who look like us. This is what we do. Oh, she said I shouldn't do this because she a hater. She said I shouldn't do this because she just want to be like me. She just jealous of me. They didn't want me to do this because I have this and they don't got that, and so that's why they said that. Everything ain't always hate. Everything ain't always jealousy. Everything ain't always somebody think they better than you. It's not always that, bro. It's sometimes people be actually smart and they be trying to stop you from doing something dumb, and you should probably listen. You should probably listen. Sometimes it's that. There are people that will be jealous and hate on you at some point in your life. That may happen. But you got to know the difference. You got to know the difference, and you got to be able to say, actually, what they might be saying might be true, and I might need to listen. You should probably get some good people in your life who you don't think are hating on you and jealous of you, to where you can actually listen to them. It don't have to be somebody you hired to be your mentor. It could be literally like somebody who actually loves and cares about you that's trying to help you.
Right.
And we have to be able to, because I think sometimes we put more stock in what people say when we idolize them or want to be like them. Like the people that we don't necessarily want to be like, we don't want to listen to them but that don't mean that they're not right. You know what I'm saying? It's like certain people we want to listen to, and then some people we don't. We got selective hearing because they look successful, so we want to look like them, so we listen to them. But somebody who's just a regular person, but they got a little wisdom, you don't want to listen to them because I don't want to be like you, so I'm not going to listen to you. Which is a problem in itself. It's very crabs in a barrel mentality. But anyways, we're not going to get into that. We're just talking about how you just need to have good relationships with people who can hold you accountable. And that includes your spouse. Your spouse should be able to hold you accountable. Y'all should be able to hold each other accountable. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yep.
That's what a relationship is. That's what that looks like.
It's teamwork. Teamwork make the dream work.
And sometimes we've had bad relationships growing up, so we don't even know what that looks like. So sometimes you're doing that for the first time with your spouse. Learning. And that's okay.
It's your first time fostering some kind of healthy relationship, so it may take you extra work. Yeah. But that's okay.
And it may hurt.
Because there are people out there that know how to help you.
Yes. Go to therapy. Go to couples therapy.
It's okay to... Guys, I want to say this too. It's okay to ask for help, but not like in a creepy way, because some people and they've done it to us before. It's like, hey, I saw the latest podcast and you guys were talking about how to develop healthy adult relationships, and like, y'all should be my friend.
No, I didn't. Sorry.
Like you can't do that.
Let me save that for my group chat. Politely. No. Here's the thing. This is why we say you have to be able to build relationships with people who know and love you. This is why I don't do the mentor thing, because people ask about that. This is why I don't do it, because I believe you should find people who are near you, who can keep up with you, who know you personally, that can speak into your life because they know you personally. You know what I mean? Like they can see you to your face. Like, I don't know you, so I can't give you, like, we can give it like this person who asked this question. We can give advice and talk about it all day long, but at the end of the day, we still don't know what her situation is. We don't know who she might not be talking about herself. She might be talking about a friend. We don't know. We don't even know what happened. You know what I'm saying? Like, we can speak to it from a general place, but you need people in your life who actually know what happened, like what actually happened, so they can give you more specific guidance.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And that's why we say if it has to be a therapist or a relationship, couples therapy or whatever, if it needs to be that, it needs to be that, because you have to be able to be specific in order to fix the problem specifically.
And go to somebody that's qualified.
Yeah. Like we can't do that. We can give you general advice, but general advice ain't enough to fix your very specific problems.
Experience or certifications.
Yeah.
Like, cause I know there's people on social media that's not married.
Okay.
Has no healthy relationship that's been developed, and they out here. You need married folks advice like immediately no.
Yeah, reading a book by some people who may not stay together forever might not be your best option. You might need to. And
this is why my dad. I love I love my dad because he always tries to get younger people to cherish and admonish the older seasoned people.
Yeah.
And they don't got to be ancient, but you're going to learn something if you know, not, no offense. But like, get around some people. Your grandparents been married for 55 years. You may not agree with everything and all the tactics because you may know that your granddaddy, he had a family on the side, blah, 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 whatever. But he got some nuggets that he can tell you because maybe he wasn't proud of the way he lived his life, or maybe your grandmother wasn't proud of the way. But like, if you know some people in your life that's been married for 30 plus years, they got some deep knowledge that they can give to you. They got some wisdom that they can give to you. The Bible says that wisdom is the principal thing. Get wisdom. And all you're getting, get wisdom. Yeah. You see, you can get all the money in the world, but if you ain't got no wisdom, what happens to the people that win the lottery? They have no financial wisdom.
Even if they did it wrong, you can still learn what they did wrong and learn from that. I mean,
hey, granddad, what are 5 lessons that you wish that you did wrong, or that you wish you would have known, you know, if you was man, listen here, young blood, or listen here, grandson, or listen here, granddaughter, don't do this. I mean, these are valuable nuggets that you can take with you. But because we're educated and we have the internet, we just think we know so much. Mm-hmm. Experience is one of the best teachers in life. Okay? Mm-hmm. So get you some folks that are seasoned, that you can hang around, grab some nuggets from them.
Community is important.
Dip them nuggets in your honey mustard revelatory relevant cultured
Chick-fil-A
sauce, and then apply it to your life. Because here's the thing, whether they're young or whether they're old, if you're not going to apply the wisdom to your life, you're not going to get the help that you really need. And I'm dropping the mic on that one. So, hey.
Said all that to say, long story short, like people be like, 2 hours
I
later.
ain't want nothing.
I ain't want nothing. I was just calling. Long story short.
Yeah.
After telling the long story. Yeah. Intimacy takes time. And it's more than just sex. Y'all gotta go through some stuff. And it ain't gonna be pretty. But at the end, if you endure, it may y'all may come. Listen, you don't know how your success story may help somebody else and prevent them from going through the same thing.
Yep.
That's what it's all about. Creating generational success.
When you look back over that rebuild, over that renovation project, you're happy because, man, it may have taken weeks. It may have taken months. It may have changed up your entire schedule. You may have had to work in your bedroom instead of in your office. Things may have been hectic for a short period of time. But at the end of the rebuild, you should be happy.
And it should look better than what you had before.
Yes. And it should look better.
Like, it should look better than what you had
before. So, hey, we appreciate you guys. Thank you for continuing to show the continued support. You guys always are consistent with the audio podcast numbers. They're always great. The YouTube video views. I mean, hey, we're not in it for the views. We're not in it for that. But we thank you guys for continuing to show your support, sharing the videos, tagging us on Instagram. Keep tagging us. Keep showing your support. We appreciate you all so very much. All right. If you want to support us in a way that is outside of Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Anchor, Spotify, you can hit us up on our Patreon page. Okay. The link will be in the description box below, or the link will be located in the description of the audio podcast. If you want to support us, we appreciate it. We so very much do. And it allows you to send in audio note or a voice note. I don't even know how to really say it properly. A voice note, and you'll be featured on the podcast. It may be you on the next episode. You never know. So head over there. Also, click the thumbs up button. Like this video. It helps us out on the YouTube algorithm. And be sure to subscribe if you haven't. Subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, and everywhere else where you get your podcast information. Okay? Love you. God bless you. Grace and peace.